Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. Get your free hit points. Hit points are right here. Come and get your free hit points. Now, the VK100 is basically a tank for people just to farm hit points. But bear in mind, this used to be, when this was first released, it was in my most OP tanks list. Yes, it was, but not no more. Not no more. So we're going to have a look at the tank, have some battles, and tell you guys what I actually think of this tank. So the turret armor on this thing is strong at 230 millimeters, and the hull is strong at 200. Your DPM 1928, not the best, but average for what this kind of tank is, and 14.3 seconds on your reload. Penetration 220 on your AP, 260 on your APCR, and 65 on your HE. You have a big gun, so you've got a 460 alpha shot on your AP, 390 on your APCR, and a nice 600 on your HE. The aim time is 4.3, and the dispersion is 0.389, and you do only have, I say only, you have 8 degrees of gun depression with just a 20 kilometers per hour speed. You almost go faster in reverse, 15 kilometers an hour in reverse and 20 going forward. So yeah, it's a slow tank. It is an absolutely slow tank. So when this tank was first released into the game, it was literally super strong, very, very strong. You could not pen the turret, you could only pen the hull. And even though I say the armor on the turret and the hull are both strong, it's on paper it's strong, but you have big weak points. Now, as soon with this tank, and the same as the mission, as soon as you start turning your turret, then that is where it becomes a lot weaker. But not only that, the hatch on top. Once upon a time, it was impossible. It was like an E3 hatch. It was impossible to penetrate that hatch. Now, Wargaming, or say now, years ago, Wargaming nerfed the hatch. So now anybody can penetrate that hatch. And not only can they penetrate that hatch, they can penetrate your front plate. Because the bottom middle of your front plate is super weak. So it's just a weak tank in general. Yes, it's got a big gun. Yes, it's got armor profile in a way. If you do angle and if you use it correctly, you can get bounces. But people will just go for that hatch, and if they can't go for the hatch, they will go for the lower plate, or if they can't go for the lower plate, they will go for the hatch. If you start trying to angle, and then again, they will be able to penetrate your turret. So yeah, it's, in my opinion, it is free hit points for all. Come and get your free hit points, because that is what I see this tank as. Now, I took it out for 2 games. I took it out for pretty much 2 battles, and these are the 2 battles that I got. Now, that tank there, the KV5, is one of the up-and-coming tanks. It used to be one of the worst tier 8 premiums in the game, but Wargaming are given that love. They've been given that love over the years, and now that has become very, very strong. The armor profile is very troll on the thing, and it's very frustrating to deal with the KV5. However, Wargaming haven't really touched this tank. You know, it's got a lot of hit points, 2,000 hit points, one of the most in tier 10. One of the most in tier 8. One of the only tanks in tier 8 that has equal or just about the same as this is the VK168, and it's, again, that is equally as disappointing as this, because it's just too weak. The armor profile it's a super heavy. It is a super heavy tank, and I just want it to have a bit more armor. If as soon as you start turning sidewards, your side plates become very, very weak as well. And again, it's so slow. Very, very slow. If you get a medium or a light tank come behind you, not only are they going to penetrate their shot, but you're in trouble. You are in trouble because you are too slow. So yeah, I'm not afraid when I come up against one of these tanks. I literally see it as free hit points. So let me know your thoughts on the VK100 and the VK168. Both of them are equally as bad. And it's a shame because, like I said, when this tank was first released into the game, I literally, this was in my top 5 tanks, maybe even I don't know if it was number 1 or not, because it was quite a few years ago now, but it was in my, I think it may be even in my top 3. It was so strong, very, very strong, and albeit, like, yeah, it needed a buff. It needed a nerf. It did need a nerf, but I just think that Wargaming nerfed it a little bit too much. I think they could buff the lower plate a little bit, and they could buff the hatch a little bit. If they're not, then okay, leave it as it is, but give it some more speed, or give it more traverse, or anything like that. Just give it something. Now, I do manage to get a very lucky high roll against that guy there to take him out, to now bring it down to a 3 versus 2. Again, I don't have the hit points to deal with these guys. They are both tank destroyers that can both destroy me in an instant. So I just want to stay alive for as long as I can, because we are winning on supremacy points. So I'm just going to drop down, and at this point I know, okay, they're both pushing. I know I'm going to die, but I did my job. And I'm against tier 9 here. And when you're against tier 9, you're not really going to bounce anything. I mean, look, we bounced 350, which is nothing. Absolutely nothing. That is nothing when you are a super heavy. And that's what you got to remember. You are a super heavy that just is almost impossible to bounce. Buff the side plates. Buff the side plates, or buff the turret, so when you start angling your turret, it's not weak as hell. So if you angle your turret, not only is your hatch weak, your turret's weak, and also your lower plate is very, very weak. That plate right in the middle there. And I hate this tank. I don't hate it like with a passion, but I really don't like the tank, and I do get a nice mastery there. I thought, you know what, I'm going to put the cat camo on, because the cat camo is one of the most hideous tanks in the game. One of the most hideous camos in the game. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to put it on this tank because it suits it. It really suits it. It looks stupid. The tank's stupid. It looks stupid, and it plays stupid. Of course, in the right hands, as I always say in my reviews, in the right hands, you can still deal a lot of damage. And again, we've just had a game there, 3.5k damage in tier 9, and we've got a game here where we are up against some is it tier 7s, and again, when you're tier 7s, of course, tier 7 mediums, tier 7 light tanks, they will bounce you. You will be able to get a bounce, but if they aim at the right spot, they don't even need to switch to the premium rounds to be able to penetrate you. And I don't think that's right. For a super heavy, I don't think that's right. I think you should be able to comfortably bounce. And again, I'm not asking for the hatch to be like it once was when it was first released. Just something extra, just little something extra. Maybe leave the hatch as it is, but buff the turret, you know, so when you do angle, then it is still strong, like super strong, because they're still going to be able to penetrate your hatch and penetrate your lower plate. So make the turret super strong. Why not? It won't make the tank OP. I don't think it will make the tank OP, because even if you angle, people will still be able to penetrate those weak areas. Now, the reason I say buff the turret is, and leave the hatch, is because if you look at the hatch, it is on the right, on the left side of this tank. So if you go hold down, or if you angle on this side, and you can actually hide that hatch. But if you try to angle and hide that hatch, you've got to angle your turret in a way that it actually makes your turret a lot weaker, so people will still be able to penetrate you. So yeah, I do think it needs a bit of a buff. I do really think it needs a bit of a buff, because at the minute it is literally just 3 points for everybody, 3 hit points for everybody. If you want hit points, if you want damage, come, because it's free damage. These are just free hit points waiting to be given away to you guys. So we're going to just finish this game, because I do have a nice game. It is a fairly nice game in this tank. So at the minute, it is a 4 versus 4. This Dracula, to be fair, he has a really good game. He doesn't do the best amount of damage, but he really really supports me, and we pull off a nice victory because of his help. So 4 versus 4, there goes the issue. So it is now a 3 versus 4. However, there are a couple of tanks that are quite healthy. Now, I am still scared of this Smasher, even being in this tank. We know that the Smasher has great pen, so no matter how much I angle, if he's going to shoot heat, he will penetrate me, just like he does there, over 500 damage. Now, I become a one-shot, and this is where I require the help of our Dracula, who is there to support me and keep me alive. So thank you very much to the Dracula. So at the moment now, it is a 3 versus 2. Now, they are 2 tank destroyers who could possibly destroy me very, very quickly, and I need to sort of, not even angle, I need to hide. I need to hide myself because I could be a one-shot to these guys, and you can see I can't penetrate that guy. If he's hold down, there is no chance of me penetrating. So I'm not in a great position to attack them guys. So at the minute, I'm on 2 kills. It's a 3 versus 2. Our tank destroyer over there, the SMV, is a one-shot. So I'm just going to go forward a little bit to see if I can get these shots off. Now, the SMV to my left is a 2-shot. However, we do have the cap points. We're not winning on supremacy points at the moment, but we do have the cap points. Now, I do manage to get that shot and a nice, well, I get shot from him in return. So now I'm definitely a one-shot to both of these guys. I really want to take care of the SMV, but just be patient. You know, I just got to be very, very patient. They've got more hit points than both of me and the Dracula. Both of us are a one-shot, and if that SMV over there plays it sensibly, he could win the game all by himself. Now, I do kind of like this shot here. I only see a tiny bit of that guy, and I managed to get that kill. So 3 kills for me, and we are still losing on supremacy points, but we do have the cap. So he's now pushing towards me, and the Dracula pushes at the right time. He's getting behind him. If the SMV turns, he could kill the Dracula, but now the SMV is in a bad situation, and I'm not going to risk coming out to get shot until he is a one-shot and we do manage to clear him. So well played, Dracula. He doesn't do the best amount of damage, but without his help, then I definitely wouldn't have pulled this victory, and probably I wouldn't have got the mastery badge as well. So 2 games for you, 2 mastery badges, but that doesn't take away the fact that this thing does, in my opinion, need to change. It needs some kind of buff, whether it be the hatch or the turret cheat, but it does need something, because right now it is just 3 hit points for everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm Meadsy. I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye. With